Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Show.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Brandon. This is my hair.
I know, what the hell's going on with that? It's
There you
it's
go.
quite the look, actually. I'm surprised you don't do the old, like I've been seeing where they kind of shave the one side and then have the other side kind of over like that. Is that
Who knows what will happen?
is that a Candace kind of creation?
At the moment, yes.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. What are you hoping to do with it?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of my hair
Hey,
anymore.
by the way, Cal phoned me this week. He goes, keep doing these shows that you're doing every Monday. I watch them when I'm working out, and I have a great laugh every time I see you two bantering back and forth. So shout out to Cal. Hey, Cal, another White Hatter who works with us over in Vancouver.
Yeah, you got that workout.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, guess what? He's now he's doing a online investigation consulting because he's also a licensed.
He told me about that.
Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. So shout out to Cal as he's doing his pedaling or whatever he does when he works out. So
Let's talk about some updates.
okay, let's do that.
Some updates from us. First update is, hey, new video from our Thankful Thursdays with Dr. Christine Hall. And you did this interview.
Great person. We've known Christine personally as a family for years. I met her many years ago in policing when we were doing research on in-custody deaths issue. And she's an ER doc, but she's also an epidemiologist, meaning that she studies disease. So we had a lot of parents asking us, hey, do you know any good resources? You know, school's about to start because of COVID. And I went, some good idea for a Thinkable Thursday. And so I had some of the parents send us questions. So we did a Q&A with Dr. Hall over COVID and getting prepared for the new school year. And just an excellent interview and on this. What I love about Dr. Hall is that she was a nurse for 10 years before she became a doctor. Right. So she was in the trenches. So what I love about Dr. Hall is that she takes medical words that are about this long and she turns them into bite-sized chunks that anybody can understand. She's got her bedside manner is spectacular. You talk to any nurse at the hospital that works with her, a couple of them commented on our Facebook page saying that we work with her, she's our favorite ER doc, right? She's just awesome what it is she does, and the information she shared, very enlightening and not frightening, right? That's what it's all about. Yeah, there you go.
Great interview. That is live on the channel.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some news stories.
In the news.
First story is this one here. Security researchers discovering 28,000 printers worldwide were publicly accessible. So what did they do?
Oh my God, let me guess. They hit a send button.
They sent a print command to 28,000 printers. And on the print handout,
What did they send? Please tell me it wasn't.
it was guidelines on how to secure your printer.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say it was something else.
Well, I mean, we've seen in the past, and we've talked about this on this show in the
Yeah, we
past.
have,
people, stuff to PewDiePie.
Hey, I wonder if we can send Cal something. Cal, you watching this?
Their printer?
Yeah, we'll see if the printer's open. Like, we'll do a little bit of a send him something.
A couple of years ago, there were people who were sending pictures of just Nicolas Cage's face.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was a time.
I remember that. So, how do you know if your printer's vulnerable to something like this?
Usually it's plugging into the router with a password is one step, making sure your printer may have a password to access the router. That's usually the setup. Usually if I have an old Wi-Fi printer, that's usually the culprit.
So, is it kind of like I remember a number of years ago when everybody was getting the baby cams, right? And they were sent, and people were saying you can drive through a neighborhood and all of a sudden connect and see what was going on in front of the baby cam. Is the same thing happening here? Like if you have a Wi-Fi enabled printer that is not secured, can I just drive a neighborhood and go, oh, there's
Oh, it's not even driving by. This is accessible on the internet itself.
Oh.
You can be halfway around the world. Now, again, it's 20,000 for around the world. I mean, that's not a huge number, considering all the printers in the world.
Right.
So
is this why it is important to have like a router? Like we've been testing the Griffin. We'll talk about that in another show. That Internet of Things, like a printer, Wi-Fi printer, can connect with to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, routers specialized for Internet of Things usually has port protection on it that will prevent just that from happening anyways.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's another solution.
I'm just looking at your hair close up here. It is kind of funky.
My hair's never been this long.
I know. There's pictures. Mom loves your baby pictures, right? Because you had this like baby mullet when you were like. Do you remember that picture? I think you were like 5 or something like that, and your hair is like but you've got very curly hair actually. I don't know where you get it from because I don't have any hair. Mom has dark hair, but it's not necessarily curly, but you've got these like locks about you. Is that why Candace wants you to grow it out?
Probably.
Does she
I'm not in charge of my hair.
Does she like running her fingers through the locks?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
yet.
They're not locky enough.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Anyways.
Can use my extra long hair.
Can
next
you do
story.
this yet? Yeah, you can. Oh my God. Yeah. Look at that. Oh God. Rick. Oh, what was the name of the singer in the 1980s? Rick. Oh God. He had hair just like yours. And when you did that, it looked. Anyways,
right.
I'm being a boomer right now.
Next story on the list is interesting story. So apparently leaked documents from the FBI show internal memos talking about how doorbell security cameras may actually be a threat to police.
Okay, hold on a second here. Didn't we do a story like last year about the fact that police departments are actually giving these things out as a crime prevention tool?
There was an issue with the Ring security and police departments getting kickbacks for promoting it or selling it, and then.
So now they're saying it's a bad thing.
Well, this is the FBI, so it's a little higher than local police.
So what are they saying? Why is there a danger here? Why is this a threat?
So apparently, one of these documents talking about, if every house has these doorbells and police are visiting a house for someone that they need to arrest per se, wouldn't that then potentially give this suspect the ability to identify and get out of the way and run away?
Okay, but let's think about this logically. If I'm a police department giving out cameras and I know that this is a problematic house, do you think I can approach them and give them a camera?
Okay. Oh, no, I'm just talking about like in general. It's not necessarily the program that was happening with Ring. It's just in general cameras and doorbells.
You know what though? That's always been an issue. I remember many years ago in policing, we were about to do a search warrant on a home, and our intelligence prior to doing the search warrant showed that the suspect had cameras on the external of the home. So really, it's nothing new per se.
I guess maybe they're coming smaller, more easily hidden.
Yes.
Right, and they're cheaper.
Yes. I mean, like it or not, I think we all, not just the cops, need to understand that as soon as we leave our family doors and walk outside, we're probably going to be on camera. Probably. I mean, I've got a camera in my car now. So when I'm driving, it's recording 24/7, and I've done it primarily for insurance purposes to protect ourselves, especially when we're driving into the United States, when we used to be able to do that prior to COVID-19. That if we got in an accident, that it was caught on video and stuff, right? So, but that's kind of funny, that one there. Yeah.
Interesting, talks in that industry.
Should we get a Ring doorbell?
No.
No? Why not?
No, because watch out. Have you not watched our last shows?
Okay. What about a camera where you can put on the driveway so that if anybody comes up the driveway, it signals us on our cell phone that somebody's coming up the driveway?
Depending on the software program you use, I mean, you're probably better off using our internal server to do that, so it's all local.
I'm just thinking, you and Candace get so many deliveries from Prime and stuff.
And we go for drives late at night, so do you want to get dings in the middle of the night?
Oh, that's right.
Ding, 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 ding,
okay.
ding, ding.
I take that back.
There you go.
I take that back.
Okay, next story. Okay, so a student at a school in Florida DDoSed, shut down their school's network because everyone's online now.
Okay, what's DDoS first for everybody who doesn't know?
Direct denial service attack.
What does that mean?
Basically, they send a bunch of devices and they send a bunch of random data to one source and it just shuts it down.
Right. I mean,
basically.
Yeah. And
in basic layman's terms.
Yeah, well, like during COVID, we've probably helped 7 families now. We just helped another one where their kids were gaming online.
Yeah.
And got involved in game rage, and somebody on the other end said, "Well, we'll show you," and they DDoSed their router and they shut the home router down for 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
So my question though, how can a school not understand that in today's world their networks are going to be DDoSed? Like, how do they not understand that? And how do they not put security measures in place to prevent something like this?
Cost, money, knowledge, all that stuff. Like, I mean, if you're an organization, you're a school district, you have not a lot of money. Do you want to hire an outsourced security company to do analysis and fix holes for you that may or may not
And I guess
exist?
a lot of people don't do things until it's too late. I mean, a good example, we were in the U.S. at another school where a grade 10 boy, it always seems to be grade 10 boys for some reason, he DDoSed the entire school district network and knocked every school off the internet for, I think it was 8 hours. Like, and so I'm thinking, like, how did you not think that that was going to happen, administrators, the tech administrators, right, the IT people, and protect your network from doing that? And a lot of people don't think about this until after it's happened.
Yeah.
Right? So like people go, and I guess that's true for all network security. A lot of people will go, well, I pay the money because it's not a big deal now, but when it happens, but a lot of times when it does happen, it's going to cost you more money to fix than it did if you actually put it into place in the first place.
Yeah.
Proper pre-planning prevents poor performance.
Pretty much.
Anyways.
Next story. Okay, so this is a story.
That's the unknown comic.
A lot.
You're probably too young to know that.
A lot.
Do you know who the unknown
no
comic
clue.
was? The unknown comic was a guy who wore a bag over his head with 2 holes cut in it and a mouth, and he was a comedian. He was on the circuit, made big dollars. He was called the unknown comedian. Yeah. Anyways.
So this story, a lot of allegeds here. So basically,
Alleged.
so what happened is a news agency. They have a particularly trolling Twitter account that's consistently bugging them.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
And on the account, there was a tweet
Oh, no.
that what appeared to be like copy and paste
Oh no.
of what appeared to be
No, don't say it.
someone
Don't say
that may
it.
have worked for this news agency, because they forgot to realize which account they were logged into when they were posting and sending this tweet.
Okay, let's all be honest. That's happened to me.
Oh yeah,
That's happened
definitely.
to you too.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, just those things can
Yeah.
happen. But do you think this guy is gonna, or girl, is gonna be out of a job soon?
A lot of legends here, so I mean,
Legend.
investigation is apparently still ongoing. So I mean, like, I guess any one of you watching who work for an organization and you may or may not have an account that is anonymous and
Anonymous?
and
Say anonymous again.
Anonymous
Thank you.
and trolling your employer. Mistakes do happen. Let's just leave it at that.
And if the employer can prove it's you and they have that nexus, that gives them grounds for dismissal, right?
Yeah.
So just to be aware, just because you have a job doesn't mean you get to keep the job. And just because you post something off the job doesn't mean you can't still be held accountable at work and have consequences.
I've seen a lot of
to that.
TikToks. People say, I don't agree with that. Employers shouldn't see what you do off work.
Oh, I agree, unless what you're doing offline or outside of work online is affecting my branding as the employer.
Well,
right?
let's talk about this next story. Segue.
There's my Segway. Isn't a Segway something you ride?
Oh boy.
Okay. That was for you, Cal, as you're watching this
boy.
on your bicycle working out.
So, I mean, yeah, let's face it. Organizations, large companies also do online intelligence work.
They put out an ad looking for somebody. Right?
Yeah, so this job's now withdrawn, but apparently there was an ad. There was an ad posting from Amazon looking for intelligence analysts, and in the ad, it talked about monitoring union activities.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like, obviously, a lot of people like that. You shouldn't be able to do that. But I mean,
if the union is posting stuff on a public venue that is affecting my branding as a business owner, then what's wrong with me looking at it? It's totally different than if it's in a private location, right? Where it's only meant for unionized within a union and so. But if a union is posting stuff in a public forum that is viewable by everybody, well, oh well. Because if you're saying and doing things that is affecting my branding in a negative way, then I have a right as an employer to protect my branding. Mm-hmm. Suck it up, Buttercup!
I mean, let's face it, law enforcement, private entities, large corporations, private citizens use the internet to monitor other people online.
Yes, they do.
No one's exempt from this.
No. And, that's why we say to everybody, everything you post online is public, permanent, searchable, exploitable, copyable, and shareable. And sometimes it's all for sale, right? Again, the caveat here is if they're trying to hire somebody to hack into a union's website or chat that is private, totally against that 100%. But if this is information that is open source, available to everybody online for everybody to see, then a part of branding in today's world of companies is to monitor your brand. We do that. You do that, right? Like we've set it up so that we're monitoring our branding about what's going on so that we can be aware of it, right? So why shouldn't companies be allowed to do that? And of course unions are going to go, bah, 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 bah. And don't get me wrong, I was a union person, right? I get it. And there's some really good things about unions and what unions do. But, you know, anyways.
All right. Okay.
Those are my feelings.
How about this? I mean, this kind of relates back to another story that happened earlier this year in regards to, again, documents, internal documents showing Amazon again, but more so monitoring private Facebook groups.
See, that's inappropriate. At least I can say that here in Canada. If it's a person,
Amazon has warehouses in Canada.
Yeah, you know, if it's a person who's in a position of authority, like law enforcement, CIA, DEA, all those other three-letter acronyms that we use, sometimes four, like the RCMP, that, you know, if they're trying to get into somebody's public communications, number one, in Canada, you need a warrant to do that. Right? It's clear in Canada that they need a warrant in order to do that. And even if you're invited in without a warrant, in order to use any evidence that you find in, because if you've been invited in under a fake name or persona, the information that you see there still can't be used unless you get a warrant for it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Which has similar in terms of private entities rules and regulations as well.
Right. I mean, so there are stop checks in place here in Canada anyways, for law enforcement. Now, I'm not saying that law enforcement and government sometimes aren't trying to skirt some of those, and if they are, they should be held accountable, right? Like, I mean, that's just my feeling. And again, it's interesting, Brandon, to see how my opinion on what law enforcement and authority can access and how they access has changed since I've been retired for 4 years, right? Like, I've been retired for 4 years, and sometimes when you're on the job, you're kind of in that bubble, as you like to call it, right? But now that I'm outside of that bubble looking in, I totally get some of the concerns that people have surrounding how government and quasi-government agencies and policing are doing things that necessarily aren't the right thing to be doing, ethically or morally. Right?
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Spies are everywhere on the internet. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, spies.
Okay, next story. Speaking of spies, segue. That was not planned.
Snowden.
U.S. court deems
Snowden.
NSA.
Every time I hear the word Snowden, I think of my first chief of police. The first chief of police with the Victoria Police Department his last name was Snowden, Chief Snowden. I'm just saying.
U.S. court deems NSA bulk phone call snooping illegal, possibly unconstitutional, and probably pointless anyways.
I mean,
7 years after the Snowden document public release.
Now, this will probably be appealed to the Supreme Court, right? Because that's the next one in the United States. And when it says, and probably pointless anyways, what do they mean by that?
Oh, there have been reports talking about how this bulk collection of phone information didn't actually reveal any useful intelligence anyways.
Oh, yeah, or the percentage of stuff that they got was like not statistically relevant, right?
Yeah, well, they couldn't back up the intelligence with anything else.
For sure.
Yeah, anyways, just, I guess 7 years later, that's now happened.
Now,
7 years later.
What about this next one? I understand that Instagram, and who owns Instagram?
Facebook.
Facebook owns Instagram. So what's Instagram up to?
Well, this is some hackers, actually. So reports coming from some security researchers seeing an increase in phishing-related attacks on the Instagram platform. People oftentimes think, well, phishing is, someone gives you a phone call or someone sends you an email pretending to be someone else.
When I take my fishing pole down to the lake to catch trout.
Okay, boomer. Basically phishing, and we're seeing a lot more phishing attempts happening on social media where someone creates a social media account. Maybe they pretend to be a legitimate Instagram helpline per se. So in this particular instance, scammers using an account, pretending to be Instagram, sending a direct message to users, targeting people above 10,000 followers, so influencers, celebrities, and businesses, saying, hey, we found that your page is in violation of copyright, which, again, if you have over 10,000 people on Instagram, copyright is a very important thing for you. So using that fear tactic, be like, oh, geez, I got claimed for copyright, which on the internet is pretty important nowadays. People freak out, press the link, takes to a login page, Lo and behold, it's a fake page, captures the username, password, they got it, they then
So what's the
take
moral
control.
of the story?
Basically, one, in this case, Instagram does not send you a DM telling you about copyright issues. Usually happens through email, usually through the official Instagram channels. And if you do get an email saying to check your account, log in, just go to the web source in the browser. Don't click through the email or any messages. Actually go to the source and verify if it's true or not. That's the
Cool.
that's the moral of that story.
Is that it for the show?
That's it for the show.
Can I bring in two things?
What's that?
Number one,
My hair?
I think it's no. I know that's pretty funky hair. I'm trying to think of the singer. I'm trying to think of the 1980s. Anyways, two things I want to talk about is SIM swapping in phones. And Brandon, what is SIM swapping?
Basically, someone gets a SIM card, they port your phone number onto their phone, and then they basically take control of your phone number, which is important because a lot of times, a lot of logins now will need your phone number to verify who you are.
Yeah, I mean, as a good example, it just helped a family who, because of SIM swapping, lost $2,000 out of their bank account, right? So what a lot of Canadians don't know is all of the major cell carriers right now offer something that's called
Port protection?
port protection, right? But a lot of them, they are not on by default.
Yeah, you have to enable that.
You actually have to enable it, which means you have to contact your cell provider to make sure that the port protection was on. So I have it on all our devices that we use for that very reason. A lot of people don't know about that, right? Like it would make sense. Like why don't the cell companies actually have that on by default?
Because it's more work for them. Because if you want to change your phone number or that kind
I
of
know.
thing, there's a whole verification process.
I know, right? So it's harder for them. They're not thinking about the user, right? So if there's one thing I want to share with all our followers, Cal, listen to this because I know you're listening right now. Make sure you contact your cellular provider, Fido, Bell, Rogers, whoever it is, and ask them to engage or turn on port protection, right? So that it prevents this crime from happening because this crime has seen an increase in these types of crimes taking place. So just a little bit of some advice. We put it on our Facebook page as well to bring people to the attention. So the second thing I want to talk about is I've written a book.
Yes, you're writing a book.
Yeah, you know, COVID, because we weren't teaching as much, Mom Beth says, you got to do something to keep yourself busy because you're driving me crazy.
I'm busy in the studio just working on productions.
I know,
You're
I
just,
know.
yeah.
Whatever. So I decided finally to sit down and write a book because we all the time we go to our presentations and people go, do you have a book? Do you have a book? Do you have a book? And we go, no, but we have a blog. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't go to the blog a lot to read the articles. So I decided to write a book. And I'm pretty well done. I mean, I'm very, very close. You're going to be designing the cover, right, for the book and stuff. And we decided to go with an ebook rather than a traditional book. Now, as a company, we have a published award-winning book that we wrote many years ago on women's safety that was published through a professional publisher and stuff. But I decided I want to learn myself. I want to do this myself. And the first question out of Brandon was, who edited it, right? So anyways,
You don't need a publisher to have an editor.
yeah, so anyways, so I decided to do everything. So it was a huge learning process, you know, learning how to create it, where to create it, you know, all these, I just learned a ton. But it's just over 200 pages and it is designed for parents and caregivers, right? It's all about a lot of the information that we talk about and putting it together in written format so that people have something. And the beauty of going with an ebook is we can constantly update it, right? Because if we went with a printed book the traditional way, that book, because of the online world, probably would have been old or out of date within 3 months, right? Because things change so quickly. So what's cool about this book is that we can constantly update it. The other really cool thing is with ebooking, we can now integrate a lot of the things that we've done on our YouTube channel, Thinkable Thursdays, our other stuff, and we can integrate the video right into the ebook. So it's pretty cool. And I'm hoping that it'll be online in October.
Yeah.
For sale, right? So it's been quite the process. I'm really happy with what it looks like right now. And I mean, who's even happier was Beth, because it kept me out of her hair. Now she's going, oh God, now that it's done, now what, right?
I got projects for you.
I know you do, right? And there's another project I'm working on right now that you sent me on, which was the whole idea of using Google Ads and stuff. And so I'm now bought a book. I'm doing a course on those kind of things as well. So it keeps me engaged, which is kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. So I'm really excited about the book.
Awesome.
Really excited to see what your front cover you're going to design for me looks like.
Yeah, we'll see how
Can you do that with your hair again? Like, oh my God, right?
My hair's never been this long.
I know.
I don't know what to do myself.
Are you gelling it at all? Or?
Yeah, I do.
I wonder if I should do that with my hair.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
I'm actually thinking that, because we're doing so many more webinars right now, I think I got to get, because if you look right now, see how you get a reflection on my head from the lights?
Yeah.
I think I need to get some of that stuff that, the news people makeup or whatever, right? To prevent the glow. What do you think?
Yeah.
Cal, stop laughing. As if, well, no, Cal actually does have hair. That's what's scary. Anyways. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's it as well. So on behalf of myself, I'm Darren.
And Brandon, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye everyone.